Hopefully. I think I heard something though. Yep. Yeah, so it's another day. I don't know. I was just turning her on. Just I wanted to hear her run. I mean, the motor's shit. You know, it's got that type of knock. But I've been, you know, like it's just kind of something that's so sad because, you know, it's like it idles good and it does all that, but I have that knock. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm about to do. Yeah, so I've had this issue maybe about 2 weeks. I just kind of been busy, you know. Also a little sad too. But basically, you know, I got some knock. I don't know if it's a rod cap. I don't know if it's a, you know, a bearing. And quite honestly, I really don't care. This whole project was supposed to be, you know, really originally we started out as like, oh, just stock block, you know, make the power. If it fucks up, get another motor, just drop it in and be done. Well, we know the limitations with the, I'm trying to get this like picture good. Well, we know the limitations with the DE motors, you know, 400, so that can't happen. So I was like, you know what, let me build the motor. Maybe I could, you know, put some, you know, aftermarket rods in there and do what I need to do to make the power. So it went, and now I have this issue. I don't know what it is. Like I said, at first I was like, oh, now you got to open up the motor. I'm gonna double check. Fuck that shit. Basically, there was like 2 3.7s in the yard. My brother saw them. I went there to go check them out. They were gone, but they were still in the yard. My brother actually saw them. And then the other night I was in Philly for the weekend, last weekend, and we were just there chilling, whatever. And what's that shit called? Oh yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. But we were there and kind of just drinking, talking about the whole car situation and shit. And I get a ping on my thing that another G37 hit the yard. So now my you know, future storytelling, let me just check. I don't really care. It's only at 130, you know, temperature wise, coolant temp. But anyways, you know, I wanted the VQ because they're so abundant. I wanted, well, the VQ is still there, but really the DE, you know, I wanted that to be the motor. You know, you can make 500 horsepower with the stock. You know, I heard all the stories. I still wanted to do it, just try it out and see. So, you know, obviously we know the story of that. So now Nissan updated the rods and shit with the VHRs, the high revs. So I can get a high rev 35 or get a 3.7. I'm gonna fucking go for the 3.7. So the 3.7, 7,500 RPM, you know, red line and all that jazz, whatever, bum bum bum. So with that being said, I'm looking to, what's that thing called? Go with a 3.7, and we know 3.7s can make, you know, 600 wheel horsepower stock. There's actually one guy who made 706 on the auto tranny, you know, on a stock block. So to me, that's going to be the next, you know, VQ type power plant. It is what it is. So the good thing about this, from this setup that I got, you know, I should be able to use my piping. I'll need to get another transmission or a bell housing at least. It's the same transmission, but it's a different bell housing type block, you know, difference. What do you call it? Probably, you know, maybe, you know, sensors or shit. One of the things that I do need to do that I may stick with is that the cam sensors on the newer models were 5 volts. And instead of doing that, I could see if these, you know, these cam sensors should be the same. I mean, not the same in terms of design, or I mean, like physical design, it should be the same, but not, you know, whatever, you get the hell I'm saying. That they should be able to just bolt in there and sit. If they can, I'm good to go. I'll just use back these stock sensors because they're all 12 volt. So that's that. You know, everything else, you know, I'll pull a harness from the junkyard, do shit like that. I mean, I'll probably pay about, you know, a little bit more extra. I was thinking about getting a complete car again, but you know, to find one, you know, under 1,000 is going to be not it. So I mean, I go to the junkyard, get a motor for 400, and then be that. So it's going to be the next set of what I'm doing, and then like I said, more of these 3.7s will be coming in the yard. I could go and just bam, pull one Q50s, FX37s. If I get an all-wheel drive one, but I don't know how that would work in terms of space in this car, but it would be nice. I mean, to get a 3-point, all-wheel drive 240, but that's another, ball, different game. But it's just kind of sad because I'm hearing her idle and she just sounds so clean. Just when she, because then now kind of getting back to this motor, I thought maybe it was piston slap, which honestly it could be piston slap too. But then maybe not because it's not doing it now, but only on higher revs it does. And I got fuel oil pressure, but anyways, fuck that shit. We ain't talking about that no more. Because it's going to be 3.7s. If another motor comes, like I said, go to the jump, pick one up, slap it in, done. And then, maybe I've been tinkering too about getting like a shit box and doing like a V8 on boost type thing just to, be cool. Only because I want to play with different, setups. I'm getting tired of like kind of working on this car, and even like the motor, like I'm just like, I want something different. Anyway, only because I like building more than actually like driving. Like that's a reward of it, but I really do enjoy building and doing that because you can see with all the piping and shit. Like people are like, oh man, VQ turbo, like oh shit, pretty cool. So that's just me. But hopefully in the next coming weeks I can go to the junk, pull one, and then get back going again on second phase type shit, and then it is what it is, you know what I mean? But like I said, it's something stupid. But I mean, watch it be, just something. It's definitely something with the bottom end. But because if it was a bearing, I guess now it would thing. But regardless of what, it requires me to go back into her, and I don't want to go back into her. I'd rather just, like I said, drop a whole motor and call it a day. So, but anyhow, it was fun while it lasted, and now on to the next chapter. So, all right, guys. I forgot to add something in. Basically, the history behind this motor was that there was an LKQ motor, but that supposedly they swapped in the motor and it was doing the same thing as the original motor. So the original motor, what it was doing was it would rev up and then go into limp mode. They said my boy, he had the motor. He said that it did it. That LKQ didn't want back this motor, but he says it should have been fine because it was doing the same thing as the other, so he just sent it off. So I don't know, if he got his stories mixed up or whatever. Reason why I'm saying that is because after I got the car running, I started noticing like a knock, like I was getting knocked at about 3,000 RPMs. And so I thought it was like the new cams or something, whatever, because I didn't hear it, like driving and shit. And so, what do you call it? So I just kind of passed it up as the new cams. And then I also thought maybe, the water in the tank or something in that nature, pre-detonation. So I ended up backing off timing 2 degrees. Well, when I did that, it was still there. So then that's why I kind of came to the conclusion that it was, possibly the cams, making noise or something of nature. And, I had my sensitivity. I always have my sensitivity high on my NOx light. So anyways, long story short, now you're starting to think about it. This motor already most likely had preconditions, sort of like healthcare. That's why, these motherfuckers don't want to give people health insurance. Well, actually, they do, but if you got a pre-existing condition, they fucking rape you. So anyways, long story short, that could be another issue for the motor. Like I said, I took away timing. It didn't do anything, so then I ended up putting it back, and, whatever. It was same shit. So I just kind of whatever. So what I'm thinking is, this motor, maybe it has to do something, with the crank. That's why the fucking, I had to do 3 helicoils on it. Maybe that's the reason why God was telling me, like, yo, get another crank. But being me and hard-headed, I was just like, I use this, although I had 2 extra cranks at the time. Well, actually 1 extra. But then I ended up tossing those because I don't give a fuck about this shit no more. But I was just kind of, thinking it because then, also my other thing is what if it was it's the cam caps and that, these Chinese rods or whatever are at fault. But then if it were the rods, then maybe it would be happening all the time. The other thing too that I can was that plastic gauge, and I think two of them were kind of questionable on the looser side, um, but it wasn't by much. But maybe that's what my issue is. I'm just trying to help you guys. Kind of explain. If you guys had some questions or whatever. I mean, the only way to find out really is to open up the block. But like I said, I ain't even go that route, bro. I'm just gonna go and get me a next one and put it in. But I don't know. It's like it's kind of heartbreaking too. You know what I mean? Because she idles good and everything, but she just develops that noise, and I'm like, I could be like, fuck it, full send, but I don't want to be stranded on the road again. If like, let's say if it is a rod cap loose and then that bitch locks up on me. But no. So whatever. On to the next. All right.